Good morning, makers. It's Michelle here. Hope everyone had a great weekend. If you're just joining us today, we are going to be making a Japanese-inspired flying fish using a empty toilet paper roll and some materials that we have here in my house. So what we're doing today is actually inspired by what the Japanese call Koinobori, which means it's a carp streamer. That's what it kind of translates into. Traditionally, for this craft, most people tend to use tissue paper, which we will be using a little bit. But today I'm going to be using some cardstock just because that's what I have laying around my house. I have a ton of it, so I need to use it up. But we're going to be using cardstock today, empty toilet paper roll. I do have some tissue paper, and our end result is going to look something a little bit like this today. So we're going to be making this cool little carp or koi fish inspired streamer. A little bit about the Koinobori is that it's actually part of a tradition in Japan known as Children's Day. And I kind of wanted to do this craft because the month of April, which is coming up in a few days, is Fly a Kite month. Some of us can't go quite outside, but we can make these little streamers. And basically, these flying carp or flying koi fish represent courage. Courage and overcoming obstacles, which right now seems like a pretty good thing to have around. I know it's a scary time for a lot of people, but we try to make the best out of our situation, and I just hope that this craft today can bring a little joy to everyone. Alright, so first of all, how to get started on our craft is that you will need to cut out some little half circles. So what you can do is, right now I have 72 half circles. This is the most labor-intensive part of the whole project, is cutting these out. This will take quite a bit of time. But if you want to kind of quicken it up, you can actually cut out 36 complete circles and then just cut those circles in half. I did that by hand for my first one. It took a very long time. I do have a die cutting machine, so I was able to make a pattern and cut these out, so that's why they're a little bit more uniformed. But if you have kids, definitely put them to work cutting those out. It could be a fun activity to keep them busy for a while. So once you have your 72 half circles, you're also going to need an empty toilet paper roll. Hopefully a lot of us have those around right now. You're also going to need to cut out two small circles. Those are going to be the eyes. If you don't have jewels like I do, you can also just color it in with a marker to get the little eyeball. You're going to need some glue. So today I have my craft glue. I have my blue glue, which I've used in the past. And I also have, this is kind of like regular Elmer's type of glue, but mostly used in card crafts. You're going to need a stick. You can get a stick from the outside, or if you have a skewer. I happen to have these little crafting dowels on hand. You can cut up some thinner paper, or what I have are some tissue paper. I have a bunch of different colors. I'm using white and teal today. And then you're also going to need some string. This is going to be how we tie on our little flying fish at the end. To attach the paper, they do recommend that you use double-sided tape. Now this is my double-sided red tape. It's pretty much the same as my other tape I've used in past projects, like the calendar one, only it just has this red protective cover on it. And I have my pieces ready to go. When I'm ready to attach them, I just snip it off. And then I'll attach it to the toilet paper roll. Alright, so we have all our stuff. Looks like we're ready to go. So I'm going to take my toilet paper roll here, and I'm actually, let's see, I'm going to take off the double-sided tape backing here. So I'm just going to peel that off, and then I'm going to start attaching my little scales. So this is going to be the trickiest part to get started. So what we're going to do is we're only going to stick about half of this scale on the toilet paper roll, and you'll find out why we'll do that in just a little bit. So once you have that ready to go, we're just going to stick half of it on here, and you want to make sure that this is kind of sticking up. And we're just going to attach each piece. Now you kind of see I have a little pattern going on. You don't have to have a pattern. I just kind of wanted to give it a cool effect with the scales. When you do that, it just looks really pretty. And this could be a good idea for like if you're having a dinner party or a birthday party or something like that. It's a very easy craft to do. It just takes a lot of time setting it up. So, in Japan, with the Children's Day, they normally hang these, they're actually windsocks, but they hang them on their roofs. And they normally, what they do is they have the fathers usually at the top of this little pole that they hang it on. And each person has a different color that represents the person in the family. So the father traditionally is a black koi fish. The mother is either red or the color pink. And then they hang the remaining windsocks in order of age. So I'll be the oldest child, and they assign each child a different color so that they know who's belonged to whom. Alright. So for my scales, I have 8 rows of 9. And once you get to the very end here, you see how I'm kind of like stacking them like that? Once you get to the very end here, you're going to put in your last piece. And then you're just going to fold over the very first piece. And that's why we didn't have it sticking all the way down. We wanted to make sure that they kind of overlapped like that. Alright, so we have our first row done. Now we're just going to keep going with each row. So has anyone worked on any projects while they've been on quarantine? Do you have any cool things you want to share with the makerspace? Definitely let us know. We're still working on our blogs. We're having topics that we post almost every few days. So make sure that you're checking that out. Let's see here. Alright. I'm just going to keep on. There we go. Alright, so now we start our next row. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of move it over to the side just a little bit. Make sure I got this right. Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to move it over a little bit. Remember, don't stick it all the way down. And then we're just going to keep stacking these. And I like to have it kind of stick to the halfway point of the scale. So I'm going to go to the halfway point and just stick it down there. And we're at our last one. There we go. And you're going to keep doing that all the way down to the bottom. And I'm just going to keep doing that myself. So how many of you are watching movies? Lots and lots of movies. I finally got to see Frozen 2 this week, and I have to say it's probably one of my new favorite movies. I really like that movie. I like the music. It was really good. Alright. it's okay if it sticks to your fingers. This type of tape is really sticky, so you can definitely move it around a little bit and it'll still keep its adhesion. Alright, so there we go. We're going to go halfway point. Make sure we don't have it sticking down at the beginning. Alright. So I have a ton of craft paper at home. That's why I'm using this. This is actually cardstock. So I had to use this up because I'm trying to clean out some of my craft stuff. They say you can never have too many crafts. Well, when your craft stuff starts invading into all of your room, you kind of need to declutter a little bit. Alright, this is looking pretty good. Alright, we'll move on to the next one. So with prep time, this probably took me about an hour and a half to get everything cut out and ready. By doing it by hand, it might take a little bit longer. That's why if you have anything like a large hole puncher, or if you have a die cutting machine, that can save you some time. But if you don't, maybe you can split it up with friends or family members and they can each take turns doing that. Alright. So let's see, where did we, there we are. Alright, so we're going to do the next row. Now, if you're having trouble with it sticking down, you can always use some glue to help make it stick a little bit better. Tissue paper, if you use tissue paper for this project, just be aware that it does kind of have a tendency to rip really easy, so you want to be very careful when you're handling that. It'll definitely make it a lot lighter. Like the cardstock here does add some extra weight to it, so it doesn't necessarily fly like the traditional streamers would, but this is more decorative in a sense. It's I have mine hanging up on my desk right now, but if you want to have ones that can fly outside, I would say stick with lighter material like paper or tissue paper. You know, fabric might look really cool in that too. I mean, it'll give it a different effect, but fabric might look really nice. Then you don't have to have it in a pattern. Like I said, I like the pattern because it gives it kind of a cool look to it. You can also switch it up. You can make larger scales, or if you want to do smaller scales, you can. My scales here are basically 1.5 inches. I made a 1.5 inch diameter circle, and I just put a line through it, and it worked. Alright, so here it is. Oh, that one I accidentally stuck down all the way. Remember, you want to keep that one up so it overlaps at the very end. Alright, we're the last one on this row. Alright, and give it a good squeeze to make sure all the tape sticks down. Okay. We're getting close. We got a few more rows, and then we're going to start adding in the streamers. Alright. So we're at the beginning of our pattern. Okay. There we go. Remember, keep that first one up. So are any of you guys watching any of the late night at home shows? Those are pretty fun. I like the episode with Jimmy Fallon and Tina Fey when she talked about the dinner parties that her daughters were hosting, where they had theme dinners. That was really cool. That's a good idea. I told my parents about that, and they're like, we don't have time for that. Too much work. Maybe we'll think of something else to do. But I've been pretty busy myself. In my community, we have quite a few people that are a little bit older. And so for the last few days, I've been working on some face masks for my neighborhood. So later today, going out to deliver some of those to our friends and families out there. So hopefully they'll be a little bit safer when they go outside. But yeah, just working on stuff to help others in this time, you know. We've been doing some running groceries out for some of our neighbors who can't leave their home, picking up supplies whenever we can. So that's how we've been staying busy in our family. We're helping out our neighbors and friends. Have you guys heard also that they're doing the virtual trips to the amusement parks? That's pretty neat. You get to go on all the rides without having to wait in line. I mean, it's a little different, I know, but some of those places are really cool. And the rides, oh my goodness. The people who created some of these, it's just so out of this world for some of them. It's amazing, amazing job. Alright. Getting close to the end here. I got 2 more rows to go, but I think it's looking pretty darn good. I like the little shiny metallic ones as it gives it a kind of a reflective appearance. So if you don't have cardstock paper like this, you can also, similar to how I talked about with the calendars, you can create your own patterns. You can tie-dye some paper. You know, coffee filters, if you have coffee filters, that might be really cool to tie-dye those with some markers and water. And then use that to make your scales. And in fact, some of the coffee filters might have a little ruffle to that might give it a little extra flair for your little flying fish. All right. So yeah, so nine scales and 8 rows seems to be about the right amount for this one if your scales are 1.5 inches. But you can change it up, you can do more, you can do really big scales, and that way it won't take as long too. That could look really cool. If you do decide to make this project, please send us pictures on our Facebook or tag us on Instagram or tweet us your pictures. We love to see anything that you guys work on. We don't have our maker moments right now because we don't have members coming in, But definitely show us projects that you're working on, or if you want to share something and you want us to post it on our social media, definitely let us know what you're working on. We want to see how you guys are staying busy and staying creative, because it's very easy to get bored, but if you're working on something, man, I'm impressed with some of the stuff people have come up with. It's amazing. All right, it's all sticking to my fingers. All right, we're almost there. I see the end. Yay! All right, and this is our last row. So we are going to be right here. Wait, I did that wrong. Let me see. There we are. All right, last row. We got to make sure that this is all the way at the end here. Did I do that right? I don't think I did that right. All right, so let me see here. There it is, right there. Right? I'm trying to figure that out. I lost my spot. It's all right. It's going to look good anyway, so what we'll do is we'll go right there. And that happens sometimes. It's not going to be exactly perfect, which is fine. You know, me, there's imperfections make it have character. All right. So we go pink, and then green, black. Ugh, that one got stuck. And then this gold one. It's sticking. It's sticking. Oh no. All right. So we're just going to hold it a few seconds, make sure that sticks really well. And there we have the body is pretty much all made. So now what we need to do is we need to work on the streamers. So on this one, I'm going to pull this one out here. All right, so we're going to put all the little tissue paper on the inside. So it's going to be coming out this way. And you can see the scales. We're going to do it from where we started. That's where we're going to glue the tissue paper in. So I'm going to use my blue glue for this. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little bit of glue. And we're going to just put a little bit on the tissue paper here. So I'm using teal and white tissue paper today. And I made this one with a little bit of a longer streamer because I want to wave mine outside. I might take it on my little trip today to my neighbors, drive my little golf cart out there and have it on hanging on my little golf cart so they can see me coming. But I'm just gonna go and alter each streamer with go teal, white, teal, white. So in this one, I'm working very quickly and very carefully because the glue is actually making the tissue paper really delicate, and it's very easy to tear that way. So I'm just sticking it in there, pressing it in real quick, and thankfully this glue dries really, really quick. So I don't have to wait that long for it to stay in place. So if you guys could pick any color for your carp, what color would you want? What's your favorite color? I like a lot of different colors. It varies on the day. But I might do like an all periwinkle one. I just like that purpley blue color. That was my favorite crayon from the crayon box growing up, was periwinkle. And then I do like the color black. I wear a lot of black. Even though traditionally that's supposed to be for the father, I do like that color. So maybe like a periwinkle and black and a rose gold. That might be really pretty. So yeah, I like the rose gold too. You can also use patterned tissue paper too. My mom has this really cool holographic tissue paper. It's more plasticky tissue than it is regular paper tissue, but that would look really cool with more of a silver looking koi fish. Oh, got a little stuck to my finger there, but that's okay. Just working really quickly. Alright, I'm going to do that to help make sure it doesn't get too tangled. Once you get a lot in there, it's very easy to get stuck to other pieces of the tissue. So I'm just making sure that I don't get stuck in there. And it kind of looks like hair right now. Alright. So once you do like a whole layer around the inside of your tissue paper, you kind of want to look and fill in any bald spots that you might see where it needs some tissue. I always cut quite a few additional pieces just to fill in. So once I get this all done, I'm going to hang it upside down the other direction just to see how everything lays in there. Alright. Okay. Alright, so I got some bald spots in there. I definitely want to put some in here, maybe a little bit in here. So I'll flip it back this way, and I'm going to put some white in there. I'm going to use up my white first. And it doesn't matter which way you put in the tissue paper, what side I mean, you can put either side in. I'm just trying to make sure they're all about the same length though. I think I might use up all my tissue paper today. I kind of want to make it a little bit full. So I'm just going to put it in where I think it needs some more. I think right there. And then I need a teal one right here. I'm going to use all my tissue paper today. And I just cut about 27 strips or so. Didn't really count, just wanted to make sure I had enough to fill in the area. And then some extra. Oop, that one didn't stick. I didn't press that one hard enough in there. It's coming together. It's looking really good. My other piece ripped, so that's it. Alright, so I've got a nice big tail on my carp there. It's going to flutter in the wind when I move it around. Alright, so I'm going to lay that one down. I'm going to put a cap on my glue so it doesn't dry out. And then we're going to work on assembling the eyeballs. This is fairly easy. I kind of just traced, I think it was a quarter or the cap of a bottle, just to kind of get a rough idea of the size. And then I like glitter, I like gems, so I have a whole bunch of these little rhinestones. And so to go with the kind of the tail and the green in here, which is a really pretty teal kind of green, I'm going to go with these little gems. But if you don't have that, you can cut out another color of paper, or if you want, you can use marker to kind of make your eyes. But I'm just gluing these gems on. I like sparkles, so I'm going to glue the gems on. And if you want, you can put your eye in the center. I like to kind of put it towards the edge, like on this one, what I did with the little purple one. So we're just going to glue on the other one. Oops. And it's hard to pick up these gems sometimes. You can use a little bit of wax on the end of a stick though to help pick up the jewels if you're using them. That kind of helps out, or like a wet Q-tip sometimes. Alright, so I have those on there. I'm going to let those sit just for a little bit, and I'm going to attach my string to my stick as I'm waiting for that to happen. So for this one, all I'm going to do right now is kind of just like a slip knot. So I'm going to fold over my rope, my string like this, and then I'm going to bring it around my dowel like so, and then I have this little hole. I'm going to pull my string right through like that. And then I'm going to kind of position where I want my string to be on my stick. I'm going to put it up a little bit higher. And then what I like to do is I like to put a little bit of this blue glue, and that's just going to make sure that it stays in place. So I'm going to just kind of push it there. You don't have to do this. If you want to remove your fish from your dowel or your stick, you can. But I'm going to keep these on here. I like these. I'm going to use them as decorations in my room. But I just use the little blue glue to make sure that the rope doesn't fall down when I'm swinging it around. Alright, so now that we have that, I'm going to grab some regular Scotch tape. You can glue the inside, but for purposes today, it's just going to be a lot faster for me to use my little Scotch tape here. So I'm just going to take a little piece of the Scotch tape. And I'm going to take this dowel. And now you're going to decide how long you want your fish to be away from your dowel. So what I'm going to do is I'm kind of going to eyeball it. I kind of want it to be about that far away. I want to have some room to swing them around. So I'm just going to take a piece here. I'm going to stick it on the inside. I'm just going to try and get that tape in there. Ooh. I think I'll go like this. There we go. Alright, so I got that tape in there. I'm going to do the same over here. Just going to kind of eyeball it. If you want to be exact, you can. I'm just trying to figure out where I want my tape to be. Alright. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find the exact opposite, like directly right across from each other, and try and line up my rope on the other side. There we go. Alright. So I got my rope in there. That's pretty good. Did a good job on guessing on that one. Alright, so for the final piece, we're going to glue on our eyeballs. And how we're going to do that is the rope's going to tell us where we're going to put our eyes at. And you can either have it like further back here. If you want it really close, you can. But what we're going to do is just going to put a little bit of glue on the back of the eye. And I'm going to use my rope as a guide here. So I'm going to probably put them right about there. Alright, I'm just going to press and hold it for a few minutes. or not minutes, a few seconds. Don't have all the time in the world today. All right, so now that we did that, we're gonna flip our carp on over to the other side. And we're gonna put a little bit of glue on this one. And I'm just gonna double check here, make sure it's about the right spacing. All right, and once it's fully dry, I'll be able to swing it around, but that's it. That is our flying fish. If you have any questions about this, please leave a comment below. We're gonna be having some more videos posted this week. They will not be live like today's, but we do have a video on 3D printing coming up on Wednesday. And then Ronnie is going to be doing a video on how to give craft foam the appearance of leather. So if you've ever been into our creation station and you saw a hidden blade gauntlet that we have on the wall, it looks like it's made out of leather, but that's craft foam. So we're going to show you how we can get that kind of appearance. And then you'll also be introduced into our brand new technician, Will. He'll be running our video on 3D printing this Wednesday. So thank you for spending this time with us today. We hope you learned something new and that you have a wonderful day. We'll see you guys soon.